called your boyfriend an idiot? Listen, this could go two ways. This is either like some dude that's just being a dude and it's like, oh my God, how are you a functioning human being? Or it's like one of those Ryan Reynolds relationships. You know what I'm talking about? Like the way that you joke about your spouse in public, like it says so much about, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not self-deprecating because it's about your spouse and it's public, and for a while everyone thought it was so cute, but it's really not. That's like the vibes that I'm getting, that it's one of the two and I don't know which one. So I guess we're gonna find out. Happy apple picking day! I guess Milo's just kind of becoming a main character of Am I the Bad Apple? Maybe they kind of swapped a little bit. Now granted, Vixie hasn't been up here as much because my friends Sarah and John have been in the guest room, and Vixie loves Sarah and John, so she's been hanging out with them while I record. But like Milo is kind of like, I don't care that you're making noise, Mom. I just want to snuggle. Always happy to have our mascots for apple picking day. As a reminder, if you want a chance for your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/Am I the Bad Apple. And as for our weekly reminders, just remember, we all come from different branches of the apple tree. And what that means is that we all live different lives and have different experiences. So we're gonna have different boundaries. We're gonna internalize different details. We're gonna think different parts of the stories are more important than others just based off of what we value. Even like little red flags or green flags that we hear in the stories, they're gonna jump out at us differently based off what we experienced and what we notice. Oh, that sounds like this that I saw a friend go through or that I went through. Like it's all gonna be different. And with that, we just kind of keep that in mind, and we don't villainize someone for not catching something or villainize someone for having a different boundary level than you. Like that's human nature. But to be clear, there's a very big difference between like, hey, everyone can have different boundaries and different values and that's fine, and excusing like blatantly hateful, offensive behavior. Very different things, just so that we're all aware. So without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking. Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for asking my girlfriend to dress more sensibly? My girlfriend and I, both 30, go on this trail by the river sometimes. It's about an hour each way, and most people are in casual or sporty clothes, you know, for hiking. The first few times we did it, she wore a maxi skirt and high heels, and I felt like it was really out of place. I told her after the last time that the next time, she should probably dress more sensibly. She claimed that it was fine, but it was very out of place, and even if she wouldn't admit it, she definitely struggled in a few particular area at the end of the trail where it's not paved. Everyone looks at her when we go, and she even gets a few comments, especially about her shoes. So it's not like people don't notice. I'm honestly wondering if she just does it for attention. We went out again recently, and she showed up in the same type of outfit. Long skirt, heels clicking on the ground, makeup done like we were going to go to dinner instead of a walk. I felt embarrassed next to her because everyone else was in athletic clothes and she stood out. I reminded her that I already asked her not to dress like that for this specific activity. She told me that I was being controlling and that she can wear whatever she wants. I feel like she's deliberately ignoring what I said, but at the same time, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect her to fit in the setting. So I just need to know, am I the bad apple? I'm gonna be honest, that's not what I thought that story was gonna be about. When I first heard the title, I thought it was gonna go a completely different direction. I'm so like frustrated that my brain is a little overwhelmed with words. So let me get this straight. You're upset that your girlfriend wants to look nice on a walk. This is what you're upset about. It's so funny because I just did the reminder about, remember, we all have different boundaries and values and blah, 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 blah. And here's the thing, the line that upsets me the most, that like actually really frustrates me and makes me kind of angry, is when he's like, I feel like she's ignoring what I asked. My guy, it's not your business what she wears on a walk. Like, it's not even like, first of all, hold on. Like, I have so many thoughts I don't even know where to start because my brain is just like overwhelmed and screaming. First of all, not that I think that you can dictate what she wears even in the situation that I'm about to describe, but it's not even that like you guys are going out to public and like she's in very revealing skimpy outfits. She's in a maxi skirt and heels and you're like, this is embarrassing. What? Like, she's too dressed up for the occasion. I was always told that it's much better to always be too dressed up than not dressed up enough in any room that you're in, period. The fact that you're like, this is embarrassing, you can't look nice on walk. And I know there's gonna be some people who absolutely think it's weird. I have a friend, her name's Kara. If you guys like watch my short content or my stories on Instagram, when I go to California, she's who I stay with. Kara wears heels everywhere. Like, everywhere. We go to Disneyland for the day where we're walking all day, and she's completely comfortable walking in heels. So like this, her wanting to look nice, and like Kara does it because she says that it makes her feel put together. It makes her feel confident. And if that's what this girl wants to do, who cares? Do I ever see other people walking around in heels at Disney World? No. Does that mean that I think anything of it other than, wow, look at you, girl, you go, you got calves of steel? No, like, I don't understand. First, like, your comment, I wonder if she does it for attention. So what if she does? Who cares? Who cares? If she wants to look good and feel good and have other people notice that she looks good too, who cares? And like the whole, well, I feel like she's not listening to me when I specifically told her not to do that. You don't get to dictate that. You don't get to dictate what she's comfortable in. Because again, I want to preface this, I'm not saying that I think, would be able to control her outfit anyways if it was like what I'm about to describe. It's not like you're going somewhere and her body parts are hanging out and it's inappropriate and you know what I mean? It's not like she's going to a Chuck E. Cheese in like a deep plunging V-neck. You know what I mean? Like that time and place, you know? That would be the kind of time and place I'd be like, hey, maybe not around the children. But I cannot wrap my head around why it upsets you so much that she wants to look nice for these walks. Do I want to wear heels on an hour-long walk? Absolutely not. I'd rather cut my legs off. If I was walking or hiking or anything like that and I saw a woman like owning it in heels, I'd be like, that is a powerful woman. I wouldn't even think anything badly. I'd be like, that is a strong, powerful woman. Bless her heart. Love that for her. I'm shocked that this guy is not only like so embarrassed by it, but is acting like it's a red flag of her to not change her clothes. Well, because I told her to wear something different. No, that is controlling. 100%. What? Like that's her style. What if she wants to go and you said it's like a trail? Am I crazy? Did it say a waterfall? That's what I don't know why, but that's what I'm envisioning. But it's like by a river. What if she wants to look nice and take some pictures at the river or wherever spot you go to? So what? What if that's the goal? Who cares? Okay, get over yourself. Bad apple. Period. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for asking my Lyft driver for his name? I, 29 female, am originally from a well-known US city but moved about a year ago to a rural county several states away. I come back home to my city as often as possible for different reasons, but it often leaves me rushing back to make sure I get home in a timely fashion. Last night, I went to a dance event in my home city and booked a train ticket back to my current state on the last train back, which was about 11:25 p.m. The dance event gave me enough time to book a Lyft, but it would have been a tight squeeze time-wise. I didn't have any time to dilly-dally. For context, I'd recently seen a video online encouraging young women to ask specific questions to their rideshare drivers, just, you know, for their own safety and not to take the ride if something felt off or any of the information that he was telling you didn't match what was on the app. When my driver arrived, I double-checked the license plate and then I asked the driver, hey, what's your name? He rolled his eyes and said, well, if you're skeptical, you don't have to take the ride. A mild little back and forth bit of chaos kind of ensued where he kept repeatedly saying that I shouldn't be doubting his identity and if I was gonna be weird, he didn't want to drive me anywhere. I apologized and I told him that I really kind of had to go. I didn't have a lot of spare time to just sit here and argue with him. I was just trying to make sure that I was safe and that I was gonna miss my train if we didn't leave soon. He responded that he didn't want a pressured ride and he didn't want to feel like he was doing anything wrong just because I didn't trust him, so maybe I should find a different driver. He was giving me a hard time because I checked the car's license plate to make sure it was the right one and just wanted to double check his identity, as is a literally encouraged safety tip. I ended up having to get out of the car and just cancel the ride because even though he accepted it, he said he didn't want to drive me anywhere. Now I'm worried that maybe I offended him or I did something wrong. I don't know. It just all felt really weird. Am I the bad apple? No. What? That's what you're supposed to do. Like, that's the instructions. What, Uber or Lyft? I don't remember. This one said Lyft. I know at least with Uber, it's like, hey, this is your Uber driver's name. ask them to double check. I don't remember if Lyft has the same instructions. Different cities usually use one app more than the other, so I have both, but I typically use Uber just because where I live, that's what's used more. That's like a bare minimum safety requirement. Like, they don't allow just anyone to get in their cars. I've never had an Uber or a Lyft where they didn't ask, hey, is your name Rebecca? And I'm like, yes, it is. And then I usually follow it up with, what's your name? And they tell me, and I'm like, great, perfect. Because that's what they, like, he wouldn't just allow any random person into his car, right? That's normal. I'm gonna say something and it's going to offend some people. And I'm gonna use the example of like some guys, some men, because it's what I see this happen like most typically. It's those dudes, and this is why I say like men, because the example that I usually see it the most in is with some guys who are like the, not all men. Well, yeah, of course not all men, but the men who aren't dangerous, aren't predators, understand that there are a lot of guys who are. And so they don't, like, if the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it, right? They don't get offended because they know it's a problem and they know they're not a part of the problem. So they're like, yeah, some men suck. But it's the ones who just assume, like, oh my God, not all men, you have to know I'm not like that. Like, typically are the ones that are, right? Because they can't separate the, if the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. It's almost like they internally know that they're a problem because they hear it and they get defensive and offended because they know it applies to them. And it's not just dudes. I'm just saying that, like, that's where I see that kind of attitude the most. So like that's the kind of vibes that I'm getting from this Lyft driver, right? I would never abduct anyone, so I don't understand why you have to double check because I'm not dangerous, I'm a safe person. Why does it offend you? Like, we know that there are literally like Nashville, Tennessee, like people are saying don't come to Nashville, it's dangerous. Women are getting abducted out of their Uber drivers, like out of their Uber cars by some Uber drivers. Like, that's their actual drivers. Like, and it's to actually live in this world and to see the headlines of how many people, not just women, but people are getting abducted or assaulted or whatever, to be like that egotistical that you can't fathom that someone else who doesn't know you, who is a complete stranger, would want to double check that they're being safe, and it's like offensive to you because like, oh my God, well, I don't want to be bothered with this idea that like some people out there are dangerous, because if you don't just believe that I'm not dangerous, then I don't want to deal with you. That is like the most self-centered, egotistical response, like unempathetic or apathetic response. These are real problems that are happening and that are going on in the world. Like, no, it's not fun that we have to do all these checks and safety checks. Like, it's not a good thing that we have to. But if you can't understand why it's a necessity and why it's important and why it's like a genuine just safety feature, it just tells me way more about you and how little you care about other people and how little you care about like the major issues that are going on in regards to like women's safety. You know, I'm rambling a lot, I need to move on, but good apple for sure. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for spying on my neighbors? We have a security system with a camera on our house. Someone tried to break in before, so it just really makes me feel safe to have that video surveillance. Just the other day, I saw my daughter was next door playing with some of the puppies that our neighbors got, and one of the neighbors' kids was actually holding the puppy upside down by its legs. So I immediately called my daughter and told them not to do that. It's not like I spy on my neighbors on a general basis or anything like that. I was just checking on my daughter. And the cameras are visible, like they're not hidden or anything, so everyone knows that they're there. But my daughter, who is a 16-year-old, got angry and said that I was eavesdropping and spying and I shouldn't be doing that. But if I didn't catch how they were handling that puppy, it could have really gotten hurt. Now it sounds like the neighbor, the mom, is all upset that I was looking over there and looking in their yard. But she wasn't outside watching her kids when the dog was being handled like that. Am I the bad apple? No. I want to elaborate because I have some thoughts on other things. But I'm never going to give someone bad apple for like saving an animal from being like abused by a person. I'm just not gonna do that. Here's the thing. Do I think that security cameras are important? Absolutely. I have so many not only in my house, but outside my house. But I also, like, it's very important for me that my cameras are like for me in my house. And I think it would be weird for me to like watch my neighbor's house. You know, like even I have one in my backyard that looks at just my backyard, and I specifically have it angled so that after like my fence ends, it like cuts off, because I don't want to feel like I'm watching my neighbors. Now, like other parts, like little snippets of their yard that's just gonna be in the corner because it doesn't angle perfectly, yeah. But I'm gonna be honest, like, and I'm not saying that this person is, but people who use their outside cameras to watch their neighbors, I think that's weird. I think that's weird, red flaggy behavior. Do I know those people exist? Absolutely. Like sometimes I get paranoid in my own house of like, because you know, I have my curtains are open because these little nuggets love to sit outside, and I mean not sit outside, but like sit on the windowsills and watch the flowers that I planted, because the butterflies and the bees and the hummingbirds, they love to watch them. But sometimes I even get nervous of like, I wonder if people are trying to look inside my house. I get very self-conscious about it sometimes. Not that I think I'm important enough for anyone to care about that, because I'm just worried about the people watchers, you know? Like I don't think I'm important enough for that to be like a concern of, oh my God, I have so many followers. Like no, not even a little bit. I just know that my mom people watches people, and so I get nervous about other people who are people watchers around me. That's what it is. And like, originally when I first read this story, I thought, your kid's 16. They drive by themselves. They go to school by themselves. What do you mean you're checking on your kid next door? But then now that I think about it, my mom would do that. That's who. That's exactly who would do that, is my mother. For sure. Like my mom is the type of mom that like, we just went to the beach this past weekend, and I said I was gonna drive myself, because like, you know, we had 5 people going, and the dog's crate, like my brother's dog's big crate, and this is like an 80-pound dog. It's not a small dog. And I was like, I'm just gonna drive myself. I think it'll be more comfortable and relaxing. And my mom's response was, but I'm gonna miss you. Mom, we're about to spend the whole weekend together at the beach. Like, it's okay, I promise. So originally when I read this, I was like, who just like checks on their 16-year-old who's just outside next door? My mom, that's who would do that, for sure. So at first I was thinking like, crabapple, because maybe this is weird behavior, and then I realized it's just my mother. And again, I will never villainize someone for saving an animal who is not being handled properly, period. So we're going good, Apple. And there's probably gonna be people on this who are like, oh, well, it's not your animal. Someone else can handle their animal how they want to handle their animal. This is not the channel for you. I'm just letting you know. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for calling my boyfriend an idiot? My boyfriend, 33 male, has a family history of colorectal cancer. His mom was diagnosed in her early 40s, and it was really bad. She survived, thank goodness, but it was a long, awful ordeal. He was old enough to remember it. Because of that, his doctors told him that he should start colonoscopies earlier than most people. He's technically overdue for his first one, and lately, he's had some very strange stomach problems. I've been telling him for a year to go get it checked out, and he just keeps saying things like, well, it's embarrassing, and I'm too young, and well, what if they find something bad? Like, yes, that's the point of the test, to figure out if there's something bad to worry about. The other night we got into it because he mentioned again that his stomach was bothering him, and I told him point blank, you're being an idiot. Your mom went through hell with this, and you're ignoring your chance to be healthy. I also told him that if he won't take care of himself, I don't know if I can plan a long-term future with him, because I don't want to lose a partner to something that could have been prevented or caught early on. He got really upset and accused me of being controlling and dramatic. Now he's barely speaking to me. I feel like maybe I was harsh, but honestly, I'm scared. The news has story after story of people dying from these things because they're ignored too long or not caught. People his age too. I mean, I'd rather him be mad at me than me have to bury him in 10 years. But he says that I hurt his feelings and doesn't like that I called him an idiot, so am I being the bad apple? I have a feeling that there's gonna be mixed mixed reviews on this one. And I think that that is gonna have a lot to do with how we communicate and how we like to be communicated with, and that's okay. I think that's totally fine. First of all, I'm going good apple, for sure. This is something that I think about a lot as I go through dating, right? Because in my previous relationship, there used to be jokes about, oh, well, I'm only gonna make it to 35 and then just, you know, I don't wanna get old enough to where I can't really walk and I'm aging and blah, so 35. And, you know, when you're 18, hearing those jokes, it's so funny because that feels so far away. And as you get older, those it becomes much more serious. And like, yeah, it's a joke, but like, what's funny about it? Me losing my partner? Me, if we were to have kids, what's funny? My children not having a father? I don't think those things are funny. And especially with like, you know, I have experience with, hey, you have these medical conditions in your history. Maybe we should get tested and screening early on. Oh, well, if I'm meant to go out, I'm meant to go out. No, I know that whoever I end up with, if I ever decide to change my mind and have children, those children are going to be mixes of me and that other person. So if there are family histories of certain things, I'm like really having a little therapy session right over here with you guys. I think I'm very aware of what would that life look like for them, if that makes sense. But I think it's very normal, especially in adult relationships, because like when you're 18 years old, you don't think about aging, you don't think about getting sick as much as when you are older and you see family members start to get sick, or you start seeing people your age getting major health issues. Like my brother's friend. My brother's 3 years younger than me. I'm not even 30 yet. One of my brother's best friends was in the hospital the other day. They couldn't figure, like it was wild and insane and scary. And it's not like it was from an accident. It was like there was medical things going on. I'm not gonna like put someone's business on the internet like that, but it's very scary. I think that is very valid to see how someone approaches taking care of themselves. And like using that to gauge, do I want to create a life with this person? Because if you're not gonna take care of yourself, you're not gonna eat right. And I'm not talking about like only broccoli, rice, and white chicken all the time. Like I'm not talking about health nut. I'm saying just in general, you know, maybe not drinking 6 Red Bulls a day. Not good for your heart. That kind of stuff. If they're not going to eat right, take care of themselves, go to the doctor when they need. I don't want to sign up to do half of the rest of my life by myself because someone doesn't care about sticking around to do the rest of life with me. And I know there's going to be some people who are like, well, she didn't need to call me an idiot. You're right. Maybe she didn't. But if she has been begging for a year, please take care of yourself, please take care of yourself, please take care of yourself, and it's not getting through to him, then he might not be able to grasp like the severity of how important this is to her without being communicated with like that. And everyone's gonna be different. Some people would not take that well. Some people need to be talked to like that. I don't think anything that she said was too out of the question or out of the ordinary. I think it's harsh, but I don't think it's wrong. Sometimes people need that. So I'm gonna go good apple. Yeah. All right, I got 3 good apples and 1 bad apple. At least that's what I got. Let me know if you got anything similar or different from me. I would love to hear down in the comments. As always, if you want to transfer your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/AmITheBadApple. And for your well wishes today, is Apple Day picking day Wednesdays now? I'm trying to get back on the Tuesday stuff. I'm trying to finalize things in life. I'm very overwhelmed all the time. It's fine. We're working on it, y'all. We're working on it. Like, it's been a crazy year. We all know this. Today, this is interesting. These are actually very interesting. So first one is National TV Dinner Day, which I don't really eat TV dinners, but if you do, live it up. Live it up. But it's also National Swap Ideas Day, which I like. That's so interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I feel like I just gave you guys a lot of ideas about my thoughts and opinions on a lot of different things. And in the spirit of National Swap Ideas Day, I would love to hear some of y'all's ideas about even completely unrelated things. What's like a hot button topic or hot button, that's what they call like controversial things. And I got that term from like my political science class. Sorry if it sounds weird. I I'm rambling now. I'm self-conscious. It's fine. What is a idea that you have that you think is unique, controversial, a hot take, all the things? I'm ready to hear. I want to know. Give me the tea. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see you all next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.